So there's still people, I mean, there's people in Times Square, but not at the levels that we used to see, Kathryn. And the question is, what do we need to get them back?
Well, we need to quit thinking that we're going to return to what New York City was in 2019. We're going to be different going forward. The world is different. We're in the third year of a global pandemic, a plague, which has created an existential crisis similar to what Albert Camus wrote about in The Plague years ago. And this has had a huge impact on society. It's going to change, and we've got to get used to that. I think the city is going to be as vital as ever, but it's going to take some new thinking.
What does that new thinking mean, though? Because if you do think that we are shifting the way people work, I mean, demonstrably shifting, going to whether it's fully hybrid work or a 3-day work week or what have you, it changes the entire ecosystem, as you know so well, around restaurants, around the cleaners, around all of the sort of different component parts that make a city a city. And even to the extent that we talk about safety in cities and crime rates in cities, we've always thought the more people that are in the city, actually, the less there will be crime and the like. And so how do you actually shift those dynamics?
Well, number one, you make the city safe and improve the quality of life conditions that have deteriorated in the pandemic. I was talking to the people that manage Central Park, and they said trash in the park has tripled during the pandemic, that they're having to clean up after their guests. And this is symptomatic of a change, of a deterioration that happened again because we've all gone through, I think, a very difficult period. And you mentioned inflation and the other contributing factors now, the racial reckoning that we've gone through in the last couple of years. Everything is in flux. And the danger now is to try and make permanent policies, to not stay fluid in terms of what we're thinking about, both with the workforce and with the population in general. So I think that we're in a profound era of uncertainty, but the opportunities that creates are also enormous.
Give me a grade for Eric Adams, mayor of New York City. I know you have to work with him, but to the extent you give us an honest grade of how you think his progress has been thus far.
Well, as the mayor likes to say, he is perfectly imperfect. He is, I think, absolutely the right mayor at the right time. I give him an A on his message, and I think the fact that he's not operating from a standard playbook, he's not wedded to some ideology. He's a person who has overcome tremendous adversity in his own personal life by sheer force of will. So for all those reasons, I think he's the right mayor at this moment in history. The work he's doing, he's not allowing homeless encampments in the city, which we've seen in other cities have become a tremendous threat. He's cleaning that up. He's gone after guns and had over, in the month of June, they had 355 gun arrests. Shootings are down. General crime is up, and that includes everything from robberies, burglaries, et cetera. That's not a good thing, assaults. But he's on the case. He's focused. He's a former police captain. I think that he's the right person for the job.
Kathryn, final but very philosophical question. The CEOs in New York City, for the most part, have been more aggressive than perhaps many around the country in trying to get their people back. The financial industry, as you know, has said, we want our people back in the office. They have not really wedded themselves to, I mean, they've wedded themselves maybe to a hybrid approach at best. But there are lots of companies, as you know, around the country that have said, we're going fully remote, and we're sort of changing the paradigm. Is there any possibility that New York is making a mistake in terms of actually trying to pull people back into the office?
Well, I don't think that most employers are pulling people back in the office. I mean, pre-pandemic, only 6% of the jobs in the city, the office jobs, were considered to be functioning partly remote. Today, 70% of employers tell us they're offering a hybrid work model. So employers have moved with their workforce toward much more flexibility in their hours. And what they're concerned about, what employers are concerned about, is not to lose the value of in-person relationship building, of team building, et cetera. And they're going to continue to push that. And we think that as the city recovers, as we get public safety under control, when people feel good about commuting, et cetera, safe on commuting, I think that we will see that the office model comes back again in a hybrid fashion. We are not going back to 2019.
Kathryn, it's always good to see you. We appreciate your perspective on everything going on in New York City, and I think this is representative of a lot of cities around the country. Thanks.